Hey everyone, welcome back to The Moment. It is Tuesday, and there is so much that we need to talk about. I'm back. I was out last week. I missed you guys. I'm happy to be back. Shout out to Rebecca for leading the charge last week. I'm really excited because today we have Jenny Yang here as our guest co-host. You know Jenny, when she followed me on Instagram, it was a little bit of like a pitch me moment. Because she is a stand-up comedian, actor, and TV writer. She was named one of Variety's top 10 comics to watch and has been featured at Just for Laughs in Festival in Montreal, the SF Sketch Festival, and Netflix is a Joke. Jenny is a former labor organizer who was born in Taiwan and raised in Los Angeles and stars opposite Michelle Yeoh as an assassin in the Netflix action comedy drama series The Brother's Son. You can follow her on her weekly podcast, What Should We Talk About, over on Substack, which we'll link to. Jenny, welcome to The Moment.
I am so excited to be here. I love the opening song. Great little beat. Yeah, it's a little Miami. It's a little, hip hop. I like it. It makes everything epic. I want to have that when I do a walk on for something,
Well, this was your walk on.
Thank you.
Yeah, every time it plays, I'm like, oh, everything is so bad. And then I'm like, well, so then I had my song. I think everyone needs a theme song.
Yes.
Jenny, what would be like your walkout song if you had a walkout song in this phase of your life?
Oh, in this phase of my life? That's a good question. I think for a while, I was just doing whatever is like a top 40 Bruno Mars song, or because I'm a basic.
Thrilled.
I love being a basic sometimes because, I grew up in Torrance down here in Los Angeles, just a big fat suburb of LA County. I love a mall. So, no, so I don't know now. I can't think of the song right now, but I would say this year, my word of the year, because I'm one of those bitches, is movement.
Ooh.
At first it was action, and then it was movement, So yeah, movement because I want to be a part of a movement, but it's also telling myself not to just be a depressed potato, and to move.
Okay, fully agree, fully consent, fully on board. I feel like the only thing that keeps me going is that we're here and going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the only thing. Today on the show, just to give everybody a rundown, we're talking about the messiest bitch texting the Norwegian Prime Minister about his Nobel Peace Prize and whether that might lead us into war with Greenland. Okay. Then we're going to talk about the DOJ, who's now tackling reverse racism. And by the way, the White House didn't even acknowledge MLK Day, which I don't know. I want to talk about whether that's a good or a bad thing. And then we're going to lighten it up a little bit. We're going to talk about the Beckham family feud. And I feel like Mel Robbins would have opinions on this because it's like a no contact situation. And then the queen of the world, Kathy Griffin, is going to join us to talk about ICE Minneapolis, and then specifically Don Lemon, who's ended up in the crosshairs of the DOJ, which she knows something about personally. So let's start with Greenland. Donald Trump bullied Maria Corina Machado last week into giving him her Nobel Peace Prize. PBS reported that Trump sent a bananas text message to the Prime Minister of Norway. Do we have a picture of that? Oh, this was last week. Now we have Maria Corina. Now we have a text message. Can we pull up that text message, Vienna? Okay. So Vienna said, this text message said, considering our country decided not to give me the Nobel Peace Prize for having stopped 8 wars plus, which is, don't forget the plus, I no longer feel an obligation to think purely of peace, although it will be predominant, but can now think about what is good for the United States of America. Of course, he threatened sanctions to Europe over this. It's so bananas insane. What was your reaction, Jenny, when you woke up and saw this text?
I feel so bad for the journalists of PBS that they have to deal with this kind of news. This is like, I just have a lot of journalist friends and they're so serious, and their work so seriously. And now they have to report on like messy group chats like this.
Messy group chat.
I think this is like little spicy group chats. Like this is what they have to report on. It's so sad. And the fact that we've lost all, presidential decorum. And so the fact that this kind of man can be this petty to just be like, you didn't give me a Nobel Peace Prize, so you will see no peace. This is stupid.
Which also, by the way, just for clarity, and this is not clarity for Jenny because I know Jenny knows this is clarity for the President of the United States. The Prime Minister of Norway is not personally giving out Nobel Peace Prizes. Yes, sound like the Prime Minister of Norway's main job is deciding who gets the Nobel Peace Prize. It's bananas. I also shout out to the Greenlanders who staged their biggest protest ever over the weekend. They simply do not want the United States and Greenland. Not that this man has ever understood no means no, but shout out to the Greenlanders. Yeah. It looks like a tundra out there and they've spoken so eloquently. And by the way, this is a country that has universal health care, free education. I'm I wouldn't want to live in the US either. This sucks.
Can you just imagine the average Greenlander right now? Just leave us alone. We were just hanging out in the Northern Hemisphere by the Arctic Circle. Leave us alone.
We are chilling. This asshole. And then, wait, this was another thing that I feel is worth mentioning is we are now pariahs on the world stage. There was this NBA game in London. And I just want to play a clip from that real quick if anybody missed it. Diana, do we have that clip?
When we granted
Yeah, shout out that.
Leave Greenland alone is what you say to a bully. That energy. I wasn't even a super powerful, pithy chant. It was
funny. And it was in London, it's not. Yeah, I mean, Meredith, what do you think? What's going on?
Yeah, I was right there with Jenny. It's like being in high school and the mean bully kid whose star is starting to fade, Tom Pierce. I all of a sudden, this is not the first time I've name checked him. All of a sudden, people start to be you for always coming after this person. But over the weekend, I kind of got into it with people on Threads because they were really mad. I was I don't know if Gavin Newsom is my first pick for the presidential nominee, which apparently is the worst thing that anyone can say, which feels insane. But one of the reasons why I'm not wild about Gavin Newsom is I want someone who's going to be able to get us back into a really good place when it comes to foreign diplomacy, because we're a year in and this is where we're at. I can't imagine how many other countries are going to hate us or what else we're going to do between now and the next presidential election. We need somebody who's going to come in and be yeah, let's clean this up. Let's repair these relationships.
I don't even know at this point whether these relationships are fully repairable, right? I guess maybe NATO we can hang on to, which by the way, I feel Trump doesn't get how important NATO is for us. But I don't know, if I were Canada, I'd be nah, fool me once. One Trump administration, shame on you. Two Trump administrations, shame on me. You know, like, I don't even know how we get out of this. Jenny, I'm curious. You were born in Taiwan, and like, just be looking at what we're doing and being like, interesting. Do you like have any thoughts as like somebody who feels close to Taiwan?
Well, let me put, if people don't know, Taiwan is in this really weird gray area, where its nationhood is highly contested and disputed by China. And it's actually matters to Americans because Taiwan was essentially established by America. And I feel like there's a level of consciousness raising that that people have been going through, learning more about what's happening in the world and how our little sticky fingers are just everywhere. And they probably, American CIA, whatever, has caused so much turmoil. And frankly, the reason for a lot of us immigrating to America in the first place from all these countries, you know, that had just like wild revolutions and coups d'etats. It's like, yeah, the CIA was there. And so, you know, I don't know. I just feel like right now under this administration, he has no decorum. So he doesn't care about the political theater of like looking like we're, you know, special world leaders with some kind of like veneer of grace or, you know, whatever. Like this is just stuff that we've been doing and he's just very blatant about it now.
Yeah.
You know, like going into Venezuela, you know, this is just what we do. Before they would cover it up, before they would kind of have some kind of NGO be the cover or some shit, you know.
Yeah.
So anyway, don't get me started, but that's my feelings about it is like Taiwan, like many other places, essentially from the American perspective, acts as just a base for American power, you know? And so any kind of local controversies around like whether or not there's Taiwan nationhood, it's like, honestly, I'd rather not even weigh in because I feel like there's these systems bigger than us that really kind of move what that is, you know?
I know. I feel like that's the thing is like NATO, like all these things allow the US to be everywhere in the world, right?
Yeah.
I think that's what Trump also isn't getting is like the reason that you can like send ships and aircrafts everywhere is because you have a base everywhere in the world. Like these aren't like California fighters going to Russia in an instant. It's because the US has built a strong arm around the world. And like, whether or not that's a good thing, if NATO collapses, that no longer exists. Like American power goes to, you know what I mean? Like it's so bonkers.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk for just a minute about what CBS is reporting, because they're saying that several former DOJ officials said that the focus of the DOJ is shifting and it will now seek to protect white people against alleged, quote unquote, reverse discrimination. Last week, Trump told the New York Times, I think that a lot of people were treated very, very badly. White people were very badly treated where they did extremely well, and they were not invited to go into a university or a college. Might to speak for the white community,
Please. Fine.
I've never been discriminated against in my life, and I want less. Like, that is every morning.
Not if he has anything to do with it, sweetie.
I mean, it's so funny because I asked someone the other day who's really uniquely primed to talk about this stuff, who's going to come on the show soon. So I won't steal his thunder. But I said, what do you think the focus of the Trump administration is going to be for these next few years? Right? Like, how much more can we do? And he said, just going to be scapegoating. It's just going to be the distraction. And so it's like Trump has been waiting to do this. And I think this also goes hand in hand with the fact that like there was nothing for MLK Day yesterday or in the White House.
I mean, this is so laughable. It's so laughable because it's like white justice. Like, what is that? You know what I mean? Like white justice. It's like when equality feels like oppression.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Then that's what's hilarious about it. It's like, good for you. You're going to cry victimhood.
To Jenny's point about like just taking off the political theater, I was sort of I kept on waiting to see if they were going to say anything about MLK Day yesterday. And of course, they didn't anywhere on any of their social media. And there was a part of me that was like, okay, good. At least they're not using Martin Luther King quotes while they use a paramilitary to build a white nationalist nation. But then on the other hand, I was like, that's so terrifying that like the administration is no longer acknowledging like a true American hero that, like the Civil Rights Act is good for everybody, like it's good. It's good for us too, and, national parks weren't free yesterday. Usually free on days like this. They will be free on his birthday in June. It just like, it is so blatantly building a white nationalist agenda. It's like, but it's to what you were saying, if like it kind of was always there and now it's just sort of like hoods are off.
Well, what's interesting, Q, is like I was remembering MLK Day in the prior Trump administration. Do you guys remember that really viral clip when it was MLK Day, or maybe it was it was Black History Month, which I highly doubt we'll be celebrating, but it was Black History Month.
Yeah.
And Trump sat down with Omarosa and was just like, have you ever, people have just started talking about someone called Frederick Douglass?
For this, that's
we'll find the clip for Friday. Yeah. But I think my point is like, they used to pretend.
Yes.
yeah,
They used to
that's
pretend.
right. Exactly. That's right.
And so what's worse?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's really yesterday I was sitting around and I was like, what's creepier? Like in some ways I'm glad because I was waiting to be like, if he's, by the way, Martin Luther King Jr., an actual Nobel Prize Peace Prize winner, by the way. Before I get to Kathy, let's talk about some real white people problems though. On a lighter note, the Beckhams are back. The Beckhams are back, but not in a good way. If you missed it, yesterday, the family's been in this like public feud, and yesterday Brooklyn Beckham threw up like a bomb into the world. Meredith, do you want to take this one away? Because I feel like you're more plugged in.
Well, here's the deal. If I can solve this, I see no reason why I shouldn't get the Nobel Peace Prize.
Absolutely.
Here's what I find interesting about this. I'm a huge fan of Culture Work. I don't know if you guys know Culture Work. She's a creator. Yes. She's fucking phenomenal. And she did a great sort of emergency Substack on this. Because my first reaction to this was like, Victoria Beckham kind of seems like an asshole. And
I've whispered before. I've met her and Harper before.
And anything you want to say to the class?
She was exactly who you think she is.
Yeah.
She was like a teeny tiny little stick figure. She had an entourage around her. She seemed like fine, so she was just sort of exactly, she doesn't eat. Like she literally just sits there. Everybody else around is like drinking tea and she won't even like drink tea, like she's clearly counting like she's like too much oxygen, Yeah. But sorry.
I'd be bitchy if I was living like that.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Like, I'm hungry.
But like, here's the deal. There's two sides to every story. Sure. These all seem like horrible people. They all seem like really wealthy people. The one thing that struck me as sad is like, I think when you come from a family like this, the one gift that you can sometimes have is siblings, right? Mm-hmm. Because
that too.
In theory, in a perfect world, your parents are going to be long gone, long before your siblings are. So I don't know, like as someone who has sisters who I love so much, to have somebody to reflect and go like, God, wasn't this great or wasn't this awful or whatever. I think that's really sad to lose that, but who knows? Life is long, so sure. Maybe they'll reunite. But what culture work,
Mel Robbins to weigh in on this and be like, contact, you know what I mean?
But what Culture Work pointed out is that this family that Brooklyn Beckham has married into is like beyond wealthy in a way that like the Beckhams can't even like begin to fathom. So if he had married like some girl from Medford, Massachusetts, like me, and he was like, fuck my parents, I want to be authentic, I want to live in, on the second floor, but triple decker, I'd be like, but I actually think that a big part of this is the fact that like his in-laws are kind of horrified by the display that the Beckhams have to do in order to stay wealthy, because that's what you have to do to succeed.
Yeah. They're new money. They're new
Right, they're
money.
new money. And so that's what culture work pointed out. So at the end of the day, you know, go to therapy, talk it out, figure out, you know, nobody's perfect. And I think there's two sides to every story. So I don't know. I want to kick it to Jenny, though, because I feel like Jenny's going to have a thought.
Oh, the thought is I've learned about this feud against my will. And so it's fine. I think this is all that I need to know about it.
Yeah. Good
It's just a bunch of I just feel like it's a bunch of clavicles and cheekbones fighting.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Just bone structure arguing.
I will say this, though, before we bring in our guest, who I'm so excited about. There was a part where I was like, I don't care. I'm not interested. I don't have a side. And then it was like, my mom wouldn't even help my wife when she was trying to help displaced dogs during the LA fires. And I was like,
Yeah.
He displaced dogs out of this.
I was like, okay, I do have a side. Dogs.
No.
Didn't get my dog. Right.
Having met Victoria Beckham, it's hard for me to believe that she's ever petted a dog in her life. You know what I mean? Like, she doesn't strike, but she strikes with somebody, would be like, no.
Let's get her up. Oh, you never know.
No hug.
You guys, I'm so excited. She's in the waiting room. She's been waiting for us. She's logged on bright and early. We have with us our legendary comedian, official Trump foil, Kathy Griffin. You know her from her Emmy award-winning TV show, My Life on the D-List, her record-breaking amount of specials, one of which won a Grammy, and of course, her new hit show, Pop Your Head Off. There she is. What's up, our friend?
Way off Gavin Newsom, Meredith. What? You hear me? Yeah, listen to me. Potted plant. Potted plant. I will galvanize around a fucking potted plant against the fascism that has occupied an entire state in the United States of America. And people are acting like it's not happening or that it can't happen to them. So whether it's Gavin or Mamdani, I don't... By the way, you want a statesman? You had your chance with Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris would have been the perfect stateswoman. She could go anywhere around the globe. But I'm just saying, whether it's Gavin or whether it's, you know, of course I want a woman, but we can't say Jasmine Crockett. Let's just stop saying that, because I would love President Jasmine Crockett. But I'm a progressive libtard, all the names they want to call me. And so I'm just making the point. We have to galvanize around not just the president, because there isn't just going to be one savior, but the whole, we lost the trifecta. So while everybody's getting so mad at Cory Booker and mad at their local congressional reps, we lost people. The last election, we lost the House, the Senate, the White House. How do you think a fucking bill gets passed, you fucking morons? We have to win the House, the Senate, and the White House.
Wait,
that's
Kathy,
what it has to take. So aid flow no matter who. No matter who.
are you like me and starting to be like, oh,
Wait, did Jenny leave because she's so offended?
yeah, Jenny, can you share first?
I have a walkout?
Yeah. Last book.
I think with
Good for me.
Wait,
First time over the land.
Jenny is bringing a potted plant for president.
I am checking the vote.
I can't hear anything right now.
It has to be a
I
Democrat.
can't hear anything. Hold on.
I don't think Democrat plant.
I would like to nominate this potted plant, over Gavin Newsom.
I would use Summit. I would send that plant around the world as a state. And let me tell you, let go of the third party system. Okay? That we are not ready yet. I wish we had a third party system. I love all the stuff Bernie Sanders stood for, but give me a break. We are in a two-party system. As Barack Obama said, you have to be in the arena. We have to get in the arena and stop infighting amongst ourselves.
Well, you know who's in the arena? Let's talk about the arena for a second, because
Wait, I can't hear you. I just lost Meredith.
you lost me. I'm here. Wait, can you hear me?
Can you hear any of them?
I can hear Rebecca. Jenny talk.
Hi.
Okay, I can't hear Meredith.
What about me?
Wait. Okay. No, I can't hear
Maybe.
Meredith.
Okay.
Here.
We can hear you. We got you.
We got you.
All right. Well, I don't know what Meredith is saying, but I agree with you all the way, and I hope you agree with me all the way.
We for sure do. I'm also curious. I'm freaking out about the midterms. Let's talk about that in a second. But we wanted to ask you specifically. You are no stranger to the DOJ coming after you.
Yes.
Original over the weekend. Don Levin, our pal, independent journalist, went to go cover protests in Minneapolis. Covered a group that went into a church because the protesters believed the pastor to be working with life. He was just there as a journalist. And then the Trump administration, the deputy attorney general, said that she was, quote, going after him, that he was on notice. Sorry, that's the quote. And there's like communication about the KKK I'm going against him. But I wanted to ask, what was your reaction as somebody who knows what it's like? What was your immediate reaction?
As someone who has had the knock at the door, as they say, by the feds, investigated by 2 agencies within the Department of Justice, I advise him to keep going and let them come after me again. Because I prevailed the first time and I will fucking prevail again. This is fucking bullshit. You have reporters that are such pussies. They're not on boots on the ground in Minnesota where they should be. Don Lemon went with his own money. He went for a day. He wisely just went from, I believe he lives in New Orleans, and he got a ton of content that was seen widely around the world. And I think it's very important that reporters with name value, and if you were on CNN and you were on globally, I toured the world. And so those CNN, I don't love CNN right now. I don't love David Zaslav, who owns it. He's a Trump guy. But, those names are still names. And so, as a matter of fact, on my YouTube show going live at noon today, Kathy Griffin, Talk Your Head Off, I call out a certain news personality that I feel very strongly should be in Minnesota. And this is someone who I have had issues with, but is a very famous face and reporter and has done real reporting from Rwanda to Jalalabad. And so I don't know what is keeping these reporters from going there. And I'm including Rachel Maddow. I don't mean to put her on blast because she's our beacon of light, but they're all comfortable in their cushy anchor desks. And I'm a Midwesterner. I know what it's like to have negative 17 wind chill, but these people are being pulled out in their underwear, half dressed. They could freeze to death during their seizure, and they're being sent to Texas, and we don't know where. I don't know what's going on. I would say, honestly, half the people that I come across in my life don't even know about this. They think it has nothing to do with them. And let me tell you, absolutely. When I go to the gym, I'm vicious. I walk into my gym and I just start shouting. Like, they're going to kick me out. Because I just start shouting, the entire state of Minnesota is occupied by the federal government. And don't think that we're not next, because Trump hates Newsom and hates California and hates our representatives and hates Karen Bass. And so get ready, folks. And they are here. There was a raid in Alhambra yesterday. I feel helpless. I am a white woman who does not feel discriminated against. Although as a woman, we're second-class citizens, that's for sure. And I have a thesis that Jonathan Ross, whose name we should never forget, we wouldn't have murdered Renee Good if she was a white bro.
Oh, for sure not.
So this is a woman thing too. Let's not forget. These ICE losers, I can't imagine how many of them have domestic violence charges or, have dealt with that issue. I can't imagine how many of them are failed at an attempt they made to join the police academy or the military. We know who these guys are. We know that when Jonathan Ross shot her face off and then called her a fucking bitch, who here has not heard that tone from a man at some point in your life?
100%.
And what do? We joke around, we de-escalate. And when she said her dying words, I ain't mad at, and that was enough. That taunted him enough. So I don't know what it's going to take. I'm so angry at other public people. I'm just a D-lister, but I'm so grateful to someone like Bruce Springsteen, who spoke out and said, ICE, get the fuck out of Minnesota, but they're everywhere. I don't know why other states aren't preparing. He's clearly probably going to Massachusetts. They're probably going to Maine. I have a show in St. Paul, Minnesota, March 5th. And let me tell you, I'm on tour now, and it is tricky. And I was thinking of canceling the tour because of everything that's going on. I had shows last weekend, and Renee Good had just been killed, and 2 weekends ago. And let me tell you, I'm going to be honest, I burst into tears at the opening of my comedy show, my stand-up comedy show.
Been there, done that. Been there,
because
done that.
I had to, you have to address it. You can't just go out there and I can't tell my usual celebrity jokes. They are traumatized. Everyone is traumatized. Everyone has seen the video, at least, of Renee Good. Everyone has seen that. And so my question for you guys is, what is going on that people aren't waking up when an entire heartland, Rust Belt state, by the way, primarily Caucasian Americans, is under siege, under occupation by an agency that wasn't even developed until 2003. Yeah. It was kind of, W built it, and it's been around, but never did they have a system where you could sign up. There's a reporter in Minnesota who went undercover, and she was able to become a member in under 6 minutes. And then they're going to give these guys automatic weapons and point them at you and break down your door with a battering ram. I'm old enough to remember Chief Daryl Gates in the Los Angeles situation with Rodney King. That guy was a nightmare. So the police chief matters. Elections matter. They're every year. They're not every 4 years or every 2 years. Yeah. Elections are every year. The sheriff is an important election. People don't want to research the judges and the sheriffs. Take 10 minutes. Yeah. I always put online my Kathy Griffin handy dandy lefty voting guide. And I'm a Democrat. I'm not a Sanders person. I want to be clear. I'm more of a Hillary Kamala person. If that offends you, I'm sorry. But like I said, I believe in being in the arena. I'm 65. I've seen a lot of this stuff. Potted plant gets my vote. Over time.
Ask Jenny, because you are a former labor organizer.
I can't get rid of shit, you guys.
She's saying, tell me, Jenny, you're a former labor organizer. What are you thinking?
Yeah, exactly that.
First of all, I just want to acknowledge that, Kathy, you are a white woman who knows where Alhambra is, and that already impresses me. My bar is very low for white people right now. And just the fact that you know where Alhambra is here in LA County speaks to my heart. I think
I'll go to Bell, honey. I would go to Bell myself.
Listen, Cudahy.
Water balloons with piercings.
What you know about Cudahy? Okay, anyway, this is a very local humor for LA. Here's the thing. I used to work as a labor organizer. I've knocked on so many doors. I've helped to elect people in LA County working for the Service Employees International Union. And I know how the sausage is made, and it is not fun. It's not glamorous. And I think what's really upsetting is that we've really failed as an American culture over the decades of losing our sense of civics, which is so boring and not sexy. And it's like what you're saying, Kathy. It's like, oh, why don't you just learn about why electing the right sheriff is important? Know about Alhambra, know about, like that level of sort of local civics education, we've really lost. And it hasn't just occurred in the last few years or the last at least 10 years.
All right, I have a question for the group. When I do my own mini canvassing, because I'm such a big mouth, I just stop strangers wherever I see them. I am shocked. I would say 50% of the white people I talk to think that every person is being detained, which is a nice way of putting it, assaulted and abducted, and then put on a plane to Texas if they're lucky. every single one of them is, in fact, a child sex offender. That's the Fox narrative. And these are people that
President of the United States, by the way, like as opposed, like what
people who told me this
anyway.
attorney.
Yeah, every accusation is a confession with this administration. And so it's like, it's not even funny. Everything they say on the Fox News or the right is 100% the people who are running things right now. So I don't give a fuck.
How do we convince them that they're not going and catching criminals, that these people really are innocent if white people have internal biases against other races that they may not even be totally aware of?
You got to talk to your Midwest family.
I feel like
You got to talk to your Midwest family. White people got to talk to your family.
Well, my Midwest family thinks I'm a member of ISIS, so.
I was gonna say, I feel like there's the like nice way, which is like we try to do a show like this, which is like approachable, and sometimes we talk about pop culture, and like maybe we can get people in that way. But I think the darker version of me is I think the truth is until what happens in Minneapolis starts to happen in our neighborhoods, which I agree, Kathy, it will. I think that is when white people will start to be like, man, you know, like I think that it's gonna take that, and like I don't like it, and I don't think that I think we're all gonna boil together in that, but that's what I think.
Why do you think the media isn't covering all the protesting that we're doing?
Okay, I'm gonna get on my little soapbox right now because I think this is both a politics and a media problem. I think all of us are not fully ready to admit the reality of what's happening, that there is a paramilitary in the troop in a state. And I think that that's really, really scary. And I think there's a lot of people with a lot of power and a lot of comfort who are still banking that somehow in 2028, we're going to go back to some sort of normalcy. And they're afraid to be seen like Don Lemon as somebody who steps out of bounds, somebody who's too much of an advocate. Like I keep saying, and not to come after, like Kamala Harris is not the only one, but I'm like, Kamala Harris is not in office right now. She could be in Minnesota, arm in arm with protesters in front of a detention center. And everybody would say, that's our leader. And I think everybody is afraid. You're on mute, Kathy.
And so should Amy Klobuchar, and so should Tina Sturgeon. And I know Governor Walz has death threats, but I'm sorry, he will be safe arm in arm in a peaceful protest. And I don't know why every single U.S. senator isn't simply staging peaceful marches. I don't care if they go for an hour. We need to see you guys. I voted for you.
Then, yeah.
Why am I there and you're not there? What?
Yeah.
I'm a target. I've been told by 4 separate law firms to not physically go to one protest. Not one. Because I would be such a trophy for Trump. And part of me is like, bring it on, motherfuckers, because I have the best lawyers in the world. But, you know, that is an insane thing to tell somebody. You're not safe physically going to a protest.
Yeah, that's
so
crazy.
I'm going to watch how Don Lemon's situation unfolds. But I watched all of his interviews and I texted him and I said, you're the only big name who's there.
Yeah.
You know, and I hope he goes back. And like I said, if you watch my YouTube show, I put the pressure on some other big name folks who aren't going to like me, but I'm used to that and they should do their job. And I just want to be clear, when I'm on tour, you may see me burst into tears for the first 5 minutes, but then I promise to bring the laughs. Because I do understand that even in St. Paul, they want a break. I've been on Threads a ton, even though it's on my Reddit. I'm the mayor pro tem of Threads, but I just want to assure everybody, don't worry, I'm bringing the laughs. But I also want to acknowledge I know where I am and I know what you're going through and I feel you.
Yeah.
Amen.
You got to.
Meredith, hear me here.
How about now? She still can't hear me.
I can hear you.
Well, y'all, prep her to say her date. I'm always
trying to say is, where can people find you? Tell us your tour dates. Like, everybody wants to go see Kathy Griffin because not everybody, but a lot of people are like, yeah, that lady knows what's up. So tell us where you're going to be and how we can find you.
Oh, thank you. Please come see me live, because if it wasn't for real live people buying tickets for the live experience, I would still be canceled. So I'm going to the real America, honey. I'm going to Jacksonville, which is basically Kentucky. I'm going to Richmond, Virginia, and so I'm doing 30 cities on this tour. It's called Kathy Griffin, New Face, New Tour. And go to kathygriffin.com and follow me on all the normal social media platforms and watch my YouTube show and come live, because these live shows, I know it sounds corny, but there's a sense of community that happens, and there might be protesters outside my shows. Sometimes yes, sometimes no, but we talk about what's going on, and then we'll talk about the Beckhams, and we'll talk about the mommy fight with, Hillary Duff, and we'll get to all that stuff. But first, we have to galvanize and understand, if there's a disruption, if there's a Trump person who's stuck into the show, we're going to, as a community, just boo them out of there. And it's a really special thing. And I'm just happy to say, as much as social media has taken over, nothing can really replace the live experience.
Yeah.
So come see me live. Come by yourself. You'll meet somebody, in line for the bathroom or something. And we'll have some laughs together, because we need it.
We need it. I feel like, yeah, live right now, community. Kathy Griffin.
Great. I love this show.
We love you. Come back anytime. And if there's any way anybody can help, get involved. Like, we're all, let's get into it.
I'm actually contributing to independent journalists. That's how I'm doing it. So I'm getting to know who's on the ground and who needs some money. And that's what I'm doing.
I love that.
You're the queen.
All right. Love you guys. You know how to get off.
Me forever.
Oh, Meredith, you were muted, I guess, to Kathy the whole time.
Oh, okay. What? Joking, and it wasn't actually, and she was just trolling you. What she like you, and she was just because Meredith and Kathy are have a close relationship. What? But she was just trolling you. She was like,
maybe this is about to be a long-term bit.
yeah,
She can't hear me. So listen, a year from now, it'll be the same exact thing. We'll go for a walk in Malibu and she won't be able to hear me. But you know what? Maybe that's good, because then I can't say my opinion on Gavin Newsom.
there you go.
Yeah, you Gavin, like, with bells on, if he is the presidential nominee in 2028. I just believe that now is the time to have the conversations. And I remember, in 2019, you guys know, actually no one knows this, even other people, no one probably, I was a big Julian Castro fan. That was my pick for president. I thought Julian Castro was a fantastic pick, and I put a lot of time into sharing about him as a candidate. So this is the time to do that, you guys, because a lot of people were disappointed that we ended up with Biden. Well, guess what? Now's the time to learn about potential other candidates. Of course, let's focus on 2026 first, but get to know somebody that isn't Gavin Newsom.
I also feel like a lot of what the Trump administration does is get us to a place where we sort of pre-capitulate, where we're like, oh, he's canceling the elections. Oh, there's this sort of I know a lot of people who have this we're cooked rhetoric. And I'm like, what weaponized incompetence? Don't let this dude who texts the Norwegian prime minister to bully him for a Nobel Peace Prize convince you that you don't get to have a primary for your candidate. Let's not let him take everything from us. And I'm not saying Gavin Newsom has to be perfect or any candidate has to be perfect, but we get to have a primary still. Donald Trump cannot take that away from me. I mean, he probably will try to come on it,
but
I'm but.
Well, you know what else he can't take away from us? A moment. Yeah, I'm dying to know what is having a moment. I'll start with Jenny. Jenny, what's a moment for you right now?
Listen, I had a moment of sadness, of contemplating the world this past week, and then I had to snap out of it. But what helped me was I was in Portland and I just walked by this place called Pairings PDX, and it's a wine bar. And they had this really great calendar of events, and it said heated rivalry. I said, tell me more. Would you say, oh, a heated rivalry wine bar pairing event?
Yeah.
So I went by myself. Sunday night, I went by myself. It was packed. It was just like a bunch of mostly queer, non-binary and women types, and just Portland, blue hair streak people. And we were just literally going through 9 basically half pours of wine glasses. And
Nice.
each of the pours was paired with a character from Heated Rivalry. And then when the tattoo song, running through my head, that song was started playing, the whole fucking place went wild. I mean, it was a time. I made friends. It was great.
That is like truly one of the greatest songs of all time. And I will not be taking questions. That is a great song that only like people of a certain age, you know what I mean? Like it didn't last the test of time except for a specific generation, but it's a great song.
Yeah, so that's my moment.
It goes to that idea of community, right? Like to take this thing, that's why like there are some things that are great about those moments in culture that everyone kind of gets wrapped up in, like
fandom.
The Olympics are coming, and I feel like it happened then as well. So it's like, It's okay to like want to do that thing. And I also think it's like, I was hearing somebody talk the other day and they were like, nothing like fun or different or interesting or really like you got to leave your fucking house. You got to go to the thing. You got to show up, do the thing, even if it's like different or strange or you have to go alone. And I think that just like goes to show.
It does go to show. What's having a moment for you, Meredith?
This feels like very much a white person thing, but
Go on.
2 things. I'm reading Wuthering Heights, which I've never read before, which does feel very much like a white person read, which is, it's okay. But I'm really enjoying it. It is really good, but the white person part of this is that I read a chapter and then I read the Cliff's Notes summary. Chapter, Cliff's Notes. And you know what? I don't think it's cheating. Like, no, it's not ChatGPT. And so it's like, it's okay to use those aids in your life, but
Yes.
I think that's like where it blurs the line. And so anyway, I'm loving the book. I'm loving the text, but I'm also getting a little bit of help from Cliff's Notes. So that's what's having a moment for me.
I love that. I feel like as long as it's not the other way around, where it's like you read the Cliff Notes and then you read, it's like you do that and then you get a little like twister being like, did I understand this? And also you can be like, hey, this is how they interpreted that, but that's not my interpretation. Like that, I think I'm all for it, girl.
You're in dialogue. You're in dialogue with the Cliff's Notes.
Right.
Nice. Cliff's Notes, like when I think we're all kind of around the same age. It was like a punchline of like, you were stupid if you read it. And it's really, at the end of the day, it's really just like a companion text. Like I'm going to English class after.
100%.
But I don't have to see X Tom Pierce. So, yeah.
I need to look up who Tom Pierce is.
Oh, it doesn't end well for Tom Pierce. Let's just say Facebook presence.
Oh,
Leave Grant. No.
Rebecca, what's having a moment for you?
Okay, so I was struggling with my moment today, but I was thinking about Trump is going to Davos later this week. Davos is like where all the like very, very wealthy and world leaders meet. It's like Coachella for like the richest and most powerful men in the world. Also, Gavin Newsom is going there, but mostly Trump. And I was remembering back in, I want to say 2018, 2019, there was this clip of a historian who, for the first time ever, called all of them out for being a bunch of bitches, basically. Vienna, I think we're going to try and play that clip because I just, like, this guy forever is my moment. Do we have it?
she's going to try to share the screen to play the clip.
This has not been our best tech episode. We will say that.
Yeah, this is not our best episode.
Yes, flown in here to hear Sir David Attenborough speak about, how we're wrecking the planet. And I hear people talk in the language of participation and justice and equality and transparency. But then, I mean, almost no one raises the real issue of tax avoidance, right? And of the rich just not paying their fair share. I mean, it feels like I'm at a firefighters conference and no one's allowed to speak about water. There was only one panel, actually.
Well, we've had two. You're the second of our panel.
There was only one panel.
Let's go there.
One panel hidden away in the media center that was actually about tax avoidance. I was one of the 15 participants. So something needs to change here. I mean, 10 years ago, the World Economic Forum asked the question, what must industry do to prevent a broad social backlash? The answer is very simple. Just stop talking about philanthropy and start talking about taxes. Taxes. We need to, I mean, just 2 days ago, there was a billionaire in here, what's his name? Michael Dell. And he asked the question like, name me one country where a top marginal tax rate of 70% has actually worked. And, you know, I'm a historian. The United States, that's where it has actually worked. In the 1950s, during Republican President Eisenhower, you know, the war veteran, the top marginal tax rate in the US was 91% for people like Michael Dell. You know, the top estate tax for people like Michael Dell was more than 70%. I mean, this is not rocket science. I mean, we can talk for a very long time about all these stupid philanthropy schemes. We can invite Bono once more. Come on, we got to be talking about taxes.
Yeah.
That shit, taxes. All the rest is bull.
Not Bono, not throwing Bono under the bus.
Bono under the bus. But I just loved, it's like, you have to imagine like the people in the audience, the people on the panels, like these are all the wealthiest people in the world. And like the guts to stand up and just say like, hey, this is like the very basic. And I'm just like praying that there's a Rutger Bregman type at Davos this week who can like look Trump in the eye and be like, hey, like you are destroying the world in front of us. So he's forever my moment.
Well, it's like I keep seeing celebrities post about like what's happening with ICE is terrible and you know what, and I'm like, you went to the Jeff Bezos wedding.
Yeah.
Okay. You have number in your phone. And I'm not saying that Jeff Bezos is the only reason that Trump got elected or the only reason that he has the power that he has. But at this point, if your friend gave Trump $1 million at the inauguration to help fund whatever, like that was just a check to fund the new era of Trump. You enable this. So you have two options. You actually can say, I think, and I'd love to know Jenny's opinion on this before we wrap. Can you say at this point, hey, I really fucked up going to that wedding and having a friendship with Jeff Bezos. I am walking away from that. Like, do you think it's too late for people to say that?
I think it's never too late. I believe in a redemption arc and a path to redemption for everyone, just philosophically. And it just means that the path might be harder the deeper you go in, you know? Like if you can afford to, you need to maybe the reparations for that situation. If you're a Bezos friend who attended the wedding, let's say you're Leonardo DiCaprio with his cap down. Let's say you're Leo and you're like, I believe in world, environmental justice. Stop flying your private planes. You know, say you disavow fucking Bezos. You're not going to shop at Amazon anymore. You're encouraging people not to. Maybe donate some of your millions that is the equivalent of what Bezos donated to something that's worthy. Like there's so many things that I feel like people can do to apologize and make amends. And so I believe it's totally fine to be able to say, I'm no longer friends with Jeff Bezos.
Yes, say it. And you know what? I think you'll get tons of accolades. And you make a really good point. The other thing I would say is like with Leonardo DiCaprio, the climate guy, the thing that pisses me off is like so many folks come to the United States because they are being persecuted. I don't know the right way to say this, but like persecuted by the climate, right? Like climate change.
Climate refugee.
Sorry, that's the term. They're climate refugees. So they come here to escape that. And then it's like when they get here, Leonardo DiCaprio is like, you know, on a yacht with Jeff Bezos, not realizing like the trickle down effect of all of this. So I think that's, you know, another piece of it. So I'm glad you brought him up. You know who I feel like fighting with today? I'm going to get offline, do a couple things. And then I think I'm going to fight with Portnoy today.
Ooh, she chose violence.
Dave Portnoy?
Yeah, because I was thinking about it this morning. And remember Portnoy just went like, during COVID, Portnoy's whole thing was like, I'm supporting small businesses and restaurants and giving them money so they can stay open. Okay, that's fine. That's nice. I think it was probably a lot of white people that he was helping. And I didn't straight up. Right. But now I'm reading about how restaurants are being deeply impacted by the ICE raids, whether it's staffing, people who don't want to leave the house to eat, etc. So I'm like, well, where the fuck is Dave now? And when I pin Dave Ice, all I get is pictures of him eating ice cream. So Dave, I know, I've talked to you before. I think I'm feeling a little freaky today. I'm going to come for you.
That SEO, you're going to change that SEO for Dave Portnoy to include ICE sympathizer. No, I love it. Meredith, can I just tell you, I love that you do not let your heel is always on Cheryl Hines's neck. When you sink your teeth in, the white on white crime is phenomenal. And I think I support that. It is. Someone's got to do it. I don't have energy for this, but Meredith does. And that's what I appreciate.
I'm here. I was put on this planet to bully other white people. And
it's so delicious.
You know who who reached out to me yesterday? Tell me there's nothing scarier right now than actually having an active fight with Katie Miller.
Oh, wait. Katie Miller, jog my memory.
Stephen Miller's wife.
Oh God.
Sir? Yeah.
I'm scared.
Yeah.
She DM'd you?
Oh, Katie and I have
A long standing
forth.
report. It's like a subplot of this show.
Yeah, I haven't. Okay, sorry. I have not followed that thread.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know. And so here's the thing, Katie. You talk a big game in the comments, but you haven't answered my DM. And I sent you a DM asking if you wanted to sit down and have a conversation. And you left me on red. And then I sent you another DM that said cute outfit, which I actually genuinely meant. You left me on red. So if you come for the comments, but now you won't answer my DM. So let's talk. Let's see. I told you I'll come to Washington and we'll have a sit down and, we can talk about it on DM, the more specifics of it. But you talk a big game, but you never want to actually talk.
I think that her media career didn't go exactly how she planned. I think she thought she was going to be a lot better at it than what ended up happening. And
If you go to DC, I'll pay my way just to be in the back like, oh.
This has been so much fun. I know we had a little bit of an echo. I know we had a little bit of technical troubles, but thanks for sticking with us. We are working every day to bring you guys the show, and we're actually going to be upping the game a little bit in terms of how we get into you with technology, etc. We want to thank our host, Jenny Yang, our co-host, Jenny Yang. Jenny, where can our friends find you?
Come find me on jennyyang.tv for my website. Sign up for my email list. I'm actually going to tour this year. I haven't even announced it. Breaking news. I'm actually touring. This is, I like got out of my pandemic induced, funk of not going around. But yes, you heard it here first. So go to jennyyang.tv, sign up for my email list. I'm going to announce my stand-up dates first there. And then at Jenny Yang TV for Instagram and TikTok. I'm starting to make more content again.
Are you doing any DC dates, Jenny?
I will. Why not?
A little group trip.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm literally, this is going to be a whole thing. We're going to discuss it.
Yeah, we got things to talk about. How exciting, Jenny.
Stand-up comedy, I still do it.
Exactly. Someone's gotta. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you to Kathy Griffin. Shout out to Jonathan who helped us get her all set up. I love you guys. And we'll be back on Friday with Representative Jimmy Gomez.
Yeah, we sure will.